We all love the vinyl hobby, but do you envision a future where you actually stop collecting? Do you have a vinyl endgame in mind? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in a previous video I did a few months ago, I talked about the idea of purging your vinyl record collection. Sometimes we can collect a bunch of records that over time we lose interest in or downright regret actually purchasing, and whenever that happens, it's easy to put them up on eBay or Discogs or throw them in a yard sale and try to recoup some of the money that you invested. And it all kind of got me thinking recently. Do you have a vinyl endgame in mind? Are you simply collecting indefinitely, no matter how much the prices may go up or how much space is required to store your vinyl records? Or do you see a point in the future where maybe you begin to slow down your vinyl record collecting, or maybe even stop collecting outright? And if so, what exactly would be the catalyst that would get you to start your exit process from the vinyl hobby? Well, I don't plan on leaving the vinyl hobby anytime soon, but it did get me thinking about the topic in general. So here are a few of my hypothetical scenarios that I could possibly envision where having a vinyl record endgame in mind might be a good idea. All right, let's start with number one. All right, so number one on my list is that you begin feeling that vinyl records are becoming really inconvenient and are no longer fun. So if you are in any hobby and you are not having fun, then you're really in it for the wrong reasons. Now, sure, there are some hobbies that people look at and kind of see as a financial investment, but I think for most hobbies, there's kind of a sunk cost already attached to it. So if you're not having fun with the hobby, you really shouldn't be in the hobby. But if listening to your vinyl record collection starts to feel like it's becoming a chore, that's a big problem. If it ever starts to feel frustrating to engage in the ritual of the vinyl record listening experience, or you're not getting any joy from upgrading your turntable or audio equipment, or getting a brand new record from your favorite artist, then that might mean that the vinyl record hobby has sadly passed you by and it might be time to seek an endgame. All right, now let's move on to number two. Number two. All right, now number two on my list is that vinyl just becomes way too expensive for you to deal with. Now, when a hobby begins to create more stress in your life rather than reduce stress in your life, that's another big problem. And one of the biggest stress inducers for the average person is dealing with problems tied directly to money. Now, nobody wants to pay more money than they expected to, but if you're in a hobby that you love and you feel that you are truly getting your money's worth, then you might justify it and say that the juice is worth the squeeze. But what happens when that's no longer the case? What happens if the scales of value start tipping way too far to one side, and getting your favorite album on vinyl no longer seems worth it anymore given the high price? If it becomes way too expensive to buy brand new vinyl records, or it becomes too stressful to even think about upgrading your turntable equipment, then I can start seeing a scenario where you begin looking around the room for the exit sign to get the hell out of the hobby. All right, we're going pretty quickly here. Let's move on to number three. All right, now coming in at number three on my list is that vinyl starts taking up way too much space in your home. All right, now let's be honest here. Not every hobby is created equal. If you collect movie tickets or coins or sports cards, you can easily put your entire collection in a small series of binders or portfolios or even a cardboard box, throw it in the back of a closet or on a shelf, and essentially, your entire collection is out of sight, out of mind. But that's certainly not the case with vinyl records. Now sure, vinyl records are thin, but they're also 12 inches deep, and they can be really heavy to move from location to location, and if you have hundreds if not thousands of them, it's going to be a real pain in the neck and really in the back to move them. And having to manufacture more space for your vinyl records, especially if your collection is growing, goes back to the idea of cost, which I talked about before, and the idea that the hobby could start becoming cost prohibitive. If you have to start investing in ways to store your vinyl records, whether that's new shelves or new cabinets, then that's going to be more money that's going out of your bank account. And at some point, you just might feel like it's all not worth it anymore. And when that happens, well, the end game is near. All right, so now let's move on to number 4 on my list. Number 4. All right, so number 4 on my list is that you just no longer have any time to play and enjoy your vinyl records. Now, listening to vinyl records is both a relaxing experience and an engaging experience. But listening to vinyl records can also be a soothing and very chill experience, and at times, even a very cathartic experience as well. But do you know what you need more than anything to be able to listen to your vinyl records? Time. You need a lot of time. Now, sure, there are some people that will just grab a 7-inch record, throw it on their turntable, switch it to the 45 RPM speed and listen to 1 or 2 tracks. Or maybe you're a person that actually will pull out an LP record right before bed just to listen to 1 or maybe 2 songs. But most people that listen to vinyl are really committing to the full experience of the whole album, which does take a lot of time. But what happens when you just don't have time anymore? What happens if you just got a brand new job that's taking up all of your time? Or a brand new baby? Or maybe a brand new hobby entirely? Well, if you just can't find the time to listen to your vinyl records, and you even find yourself going online to listen to digital copies of albums that you already own, then, well, the end game is coming for you. All right, let's go to number 5. Number 5, 5. All right, now coming in at number 5 on my list is that you start finding that new music is a lot more fun to listen to than old music. All right, let's be honest. If you are purchasing a vinyl record, then that probably means that you have some sort of a special bond or love for that particular album that has been formed for years, maybe even decades of listening to the music. It's all about nostalgia. It's your comfort music, and you want to listen to it over and over and over again. For you, it just really never gets old. But what happens if at some point in the future, you are getting tired of the old music? What happens if new artists and new genres of music are really starting to catch your eye, or should I say your ear, over the old and very familiar stuff that you're used to? Well, if you fall into that category either now or perhaps sometime in the future, then you might begin to think that investing all of that money in old vinyl records could be better spent spending that money towards maybe a streaming service where you can have access to millions of albums and certainly brand new releases. And if that happens, well, ball game. All right, and now let's move on to number 6 on my list. Number 6. All right, now coming in at number 6 on my list is that you are just simply tired of all of the upkeep that comes with having a vinyl record collection. Even though I'm wearing a Tupac shirt, I'm gonna hit you with a Biggie Smalls quote that everybody should know, which is "Mo money, mo problems." And funny enough, I think that quote is really appropriate for the vinyl hobby itself. A lot of less expensive vinyl record players tend to be fully automatic record players. And if you have a fully automatic record player, then the upkeep for that record player is very simple. You push a button to start the record player and the record player starts playing. And when it gets to the end of the actual side, the tone arm lifts up, it returns back to its rest, and the record player shuts off. It's easy. There's going to be certain things like the tracking force that are going to be preset by the manufacturer. And oftentimes, you can't change out the cartridge either, so what you see is what you get. And the record player will usually come with a built-in phono preamp, and even in some cases will come with built-in speakers. So again, everything is simple here. It's very easy. There's no problems. But when you start spending more money in this hobby, especially as your tastes begin to mature, you definitely are rewarded with better quality and potentially more headaches as well. You start obsessing more in your mind about keeping your records as clean as possible, perhaps pushing you further and further towards buying a record cleaning machine. Maybe you start feeling that your turntable platter could be better, or the phono preamp that you have really isn't giving you the sound that you expected, and that could be upgraded as well. In fact, maybe those speakers that you have could be a whole lot bigger, or maybe the cartridge that you have really is kind of outdated and you should really splurge on that new cartridge you have your eye on. It's worth an upgrade, right? And listen, don't let anything break on you, especially if you have vintage gear. I mean, you're opening up a whole other can of worms there and a whole big old bag of problems. So if you were to one day take a step back and assess the situation and really start thinking that in your mind, maybe this whole upkeep when it comes to vinyl and turntables and audio equipment just isn't worth it, well, the endgame is definitely on the horizon. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, put the words vinyl forever in the comment section below. Also, be sure to let me know what you think about this topic as well. I'd be curious to know if any of you actually do have some sort of a end game in mind when it comes to the vinyl hobby, or are you just going to be collecting indefinitely, going to be collecting forever because you love vinyl records? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. I always appreciate it when you do that. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel devoted to vinyl if you want to be alerted whenever a new video drops. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and as always, stay devoted to vinyl.